So last week, I ran a quick survey asking people what's the biggest challenge they have on their fitness journey. And 55% of you, so more than half, said that your biggest challenge was nutrition for getting lean, specifically getting down to 10% or 12% body fat. So let's talk about that. I've been coaching this for 8 years now, and I want to highlight some of the biggest mistakes made by those who consistently keep failing at this. So you can avoid these mistakes and you can do better on your journey. So the first issue that I see is that people focus way too much on intensity before they've mastered consistency. And we all know that person. It's all about strict goals, deadlines, they're searching for what's the maximum amount of body fat you can lose in a week, and they're really trying to find the quickest method to lose weight. And sure, that person with that mindset may get some early results. They might drop 10 pounds, around 4.5 kilos, may even drop 20 pounds, around 9 kilos. But you run into that person 6 months later, and they've not only regained all the body fat they've lost, but they've added some, plus the disappointment that comes with that. So what really happened here? Let's take driving for example. If you just got your driver's license a month ago, would you go out there and do a NASCAR or a Formula One race? They would never let you because you're not ready and they know it wouldn't end so well. The same applies in business. It's often said scale breaks things, which means that if your business doesn't have good systems and processes, if you get a sudden influx of a lot of customers, things are simply going to fall apart. In other words, early on in your fitness journey, consistency with good healthy eating habits, training regularly, hitting the like button regularly are way more important than how quickly you can lose weight, especially if you're someone who's struggling with this. And once you have a good foundation of strong habits, adding more intensity and speeding things up can be done without risking falling off track. Now, the second thing that I see a lot of people get wrong is they get too emotional about the process. And I get it. When I was starting out, I was overweight, and one of my motivations to change was me being disappointed with my body. That's what triggered the initial transformation. And that type of strong emotion, such as disappointment, may well be a springboard for you to get that motivation and start making some changes. But that is not a sustainable way to approach the entire process. One thing that I consistently see with those who fail to get lean is they're letting their emotional state affect their overall commitment. They do well for a few days or a whole week, and then they get frustrated if they see that the scale didn't go down immediately. If your motivation is so fragile that one bad weigh-in or one bad week can throw you off track or have you question the entire process, well, I got some bad news for you. You're not very likely to make it. Getting lean is about endurance. And I don't mean the physical type. I mean being able to endure mentally and emotionally. Because you can know exactly what you need to do and you can know that it's going to work for you, but it's still going to be difficult to execute consistently, especially when it comes down to losing those last 10 pounds to get really lean. And then even small mistakes can do a lot of damage. And that experience of failing so close to your goal can be very humbling. And at some point, we all have to learn how to quote unquote embrace the suck. And that discomfort is unavoidable. And since it's unavoidable, you may as well view it as a challenge and promise to yourself that you're not going to give up no matter what. You're going to be glad that you did so. Now, the third mistake that I see a lot of people make is they're trying to exercise their way to a lean physique. Look, I'm all about lifting weights, doing your 10,000 steps per day, cardio, sports, outdoor activities, all of that is amazing. But if you have a lot of bad eating habits, you can easily eat back all the calories you burned and add even more. When it comes to getting lean, the primary way you generate a calorie deficit is through your diet. And one of the first steps you need to take is start letting go of the old eating habits that had you gain that excess body fat in the first place. And in practice, what this means that even if you are tracking your calories and macros, you should be minimizing added oils, added sugars, liquid calories, and those ultra-processed foods which are designed to make you want to eat more. So your diet now is based on lean protein sources, fruits, vegetables, starches, and foods you prepared yourself where you know the ingredients. I know this sounds frustrating and simple, but you have to start making better food choices in general instead of trying to out-exercise a bad diet. Everything else is a quick fix and it won't last very long. Now, the fourth thing that I see that those who struggle have in common is they often make the same excuses. And this is especially true with the diet. And look, anybody can have a one-off situation where you fall off track. It happens to all of us and it's completely normal. But for most people, the real problem are recurring slip-ups that happen daily and weekly. How many times can you really blame the weekends if you know that it's happening every week? Or dinners with family, or lunch at work? Is there really an excuse when you know it's coming? In my opinion, there isn't. It's a lack of planning. And this is something that you can solve and that you should solve because it's a part of your lifestyle. And if you're not sure where to begin, here are 3 steps that I recommend. Step number 1, diagnose why it broke before you try to fix it. If you keep falling off track, maybe the whole diet is broken. Are you dieting on too low of calories? It doesn't matter how bad you want it. If the diet itself is not sustainable and if the plan is not reasonable, you're not gonna get it. Step 2, fix the issue before you restart the process. If you're feeling hungry all the time, try more filling food options or dieting on slightly higher calories. If drinking is getting in the way, limit your alcohol to 2 drinks per week or eliminate it entirely. You need to make a change, otherwise you're going to end up repeating the same mistakes. And then step 3 is test your new approach for 30 days. Think of it as an engineering problem. You now have a solution, you go out there, you try it out, and then you iterate from there. And that's how one by one you find a solution for each of the recurring situations you find yourself in, and eventually you're going to solve all of them. And that's when consistency becomes much easier and results are pretty much inevitable. Now, the 5th problem that I see with those who struggle, which may actually be the worst one out of everything that I mentioned, is that they actively avoid accountability. I see grown successful adults afraid of logging a day in MyFitnessPal because they don't want to see the numbers go red. It's too uncomfortable. They don't want to step on the scale after the weekend because they don't want to face the reality. It's easier to say, I'm not focusing on this, or just to rationalize it using one of their go-to excuses. And here's the truth. On this journey, you will fail a lot and you're gonna hurt your ego on a consistent basis. So you better get used to it. This is not a journey where you're gonna win every single step of the way. And the average person out there rejects accountability, and by doing that, they remove all responsibility to improve themselves, to become better. While from my experience, those who are getting down to 12% or 10% body fat, they thrive under external accountability and self-accountability. And this is not just about whether you're going to have a snack after dinner or not. This is really about what type of person do you want to be. And you don't want to be that type of person that's going to bury their head in the sand every time they fail because they want to ignore reality. You want to face your mistakes, you want to learn from them, and if it is one step back to take 2 steps forward, so be it. You get back on track as soon as possible and you try to do better next time. What's going to help you with that is making sure you hit that subscribe button below, the notifications with hitting the bell icon. If you're interested in coaching and working with me, details for coaching on the description below. Also going to leave a very helpful video here for you at the end, so check out that video and I'm going to see you right there.